Hello, welcome to my story recaps. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on notifications to get the best entertainment. Sit back, relax and enjoy the show. The movie opens up in an abandoned warehouse where a priest is performing an exorcism. There is a man tied to a bed who is under the influence of a sinister demonic force that is tormenting him. As the priest frantically recites prayers and pours holy oil on the afflicted individual, the demon cries out in agony. As the prayer intensifies, the room experiences unnatural phenomena such as lights flickering, objects being thrown around and violent winds. The demon, who is now agitated, cries out in agony and speaks in a foreign tongue. The battle escalates as the demon taunts the priest, and the exorcist responds kindly in prayers. After a long struggle, the priest manages to subdue the demon and forces the creature to reveal its name. This gives the priest power to expel the demon, finally expelling it from its host. Eventually everything goes back to normal, and the relatives of the afflicted reconcile with their beloved. There is a joyful atmosphere as everyone celebrates the victory. Now that exorcism is finished, the priest directs his gaze towards the camera and talks to his audience. It is here that we learn that the whole exorcism is staged, and everything is aroused just to gain followers on social media. This team, led by our two protagonists Drew and Max, who are best friends, create illusions of exorcism to gain views and sell merchandise online. The audience, who are oblivious to the truth, believe that they are genuine and tune in to watch their show in numbers. Although they are averaging 50,000 views per episode, Max, the fake exorcist, still wants more and dreams of reaching 5 million views. Drew argues they can achieve more views if they change their approach, but Max dismisses his ideas, insisting they continue their current routine. From this we can see that although they are partners, Max is the one who runs the show. They hang out later at a bar where the once priest Max indulges in alcohol and women whilst having a good time. Both Max and Drew have the time of their lives performing karaoke on stage, singing out loud in a state of ecstasy and alcoholic bliss. After they are done singing rock and roll on stage, Max ironically says "Peace be upon you," mocking the title of the priesthood. As Max sits on the bar indulging in alcohol, two fan girls approach him and compliment his talents. Max, a chick magnet, manages to charm one of them and goes home with her, and they get frisky. Whilst making out, Max sees the face of the girl turn into a demon for a split second, freaking him out. He pulls away from the bed only to realize it's just his imagination playing trick. He excuses himself to clear his head. On the other side, Drew and his girlfriend Lena are celebrating her big promotion in a reputable company that she is currently working. Lena laments that Max is using Drew, therefore, Drew must leave Max and look for another job. She argues that Max is using him only to get views, so Lena encourages Drew to pull the plug on the show. In a dark, scary alley, a woman walks in the dark, dimmed street, not noticing the malevolent creature stalking her movements. A few moments later, she starts to get petrified as she notices her creepy surroundings. As she starts to panic, a grotesque creature catches her gaze and starts to chase her in the dark alley. She tries to call 911, but a strange phenomenon causes her phone to glitch and lose SIM service. Just when she thinks she is safe, the creature surprises her from behind and drags her into the darkness. We don't see what happens to her, but it's safe to assume that she has become the first victim of the demon. We quickly discover that the girl was supposed to be the actor for Devil's Hour, a new show that Drew and Max are producing. Drew speculates that she is running late, unaware that something bad has happened to her. Max arrives late, seemingly shaken from his encounter in the morning. He also learns that their paid actor is late, which frustrates him even more. Drew suggests that Lena take over as the new method actor for the show, which Max quickly objects. They argue back and forth, but Drew reminds Max that they only have a few seconds left for the show to start. Either Lane takes over as the method actor or they will have to cancel the show. Max finally gives in and starts the show, as they have no choice but to improvise. At the start of the show, Max is apprehensive of Lane, but eventually gets into character as the show progresses. The show begins normally with Max and Lena playing their parts as scripted. Max reads prayers from the Bible, while Lane in the background is chained, creating the illusion that she is under the influence of a demon. Max begins to narrate the script and calls Lane by her stage name Sabrina. He narrates a fake made-up story, claiming that Sabrina from a young age was molested, therefore the evil spirit is out to get revenge against her abusers. Everything is going according to plan, and Drew gives the signal for the technicians to tamper with the lights, creating an illusion that the demon is powerful. Max calls this type of demon a stage 4 abomination and can only be expelled by strong incantation. Things go off script when Max commands the demon to reveal its name. From here, things take a dark turn when Lane lets out a demonic scream. Drew is left perplexed as he did not press any button for special effects. Both Drew and Max stare at each slowly sinking in the horror they are witnessing. Though firstly they believe it's a hoax, they realize that there is a sinister force at play. The sound technician, visibly freaked out by something he sees, falls and trembles on the floor with fear. He hurries out to the bathroom to compose himself, but the demon follows him. As he washes his hands, blood starts dripping from the tap, oozing out in all directions. When he looks in the mirror, his face is transformed, which freaks him out. A pair of demonic hands appear from the mirror trying to grab him. Though he manages to dodge it, he falls to the ground and hits his head. His body now lies motionless on the ground. Now Max and Drew are terrified. They never thought something like this could ever happen, as they believed it was just a hoax. Now faced with a real demon, they are clueless on what to do. Lane, who now looked pale and possessed, is unaffected by Max's incantation. The demon laughs at them and taunts them as the audience watches in disbelief. She focuses her attention on Tommy and starts to taunt him. Tommy sees his skin slowly catching fire. He starts to cry in pain, much to the horror of the audience screaming at the top of his lungs. The team tries to put out the flames with a fire extinguisher, but unfortunately, it only adds more fuel, much to the fire. Tommy eventually succumbs to his injuries and passes away. His body lies on the floor, roasted and beyond recognition. Panicking, the team tries to call the police, but the demons cuts off any form of communication. It fries all electronic gadgets. We now see the audience finally seeing the seriousness of the situation. We are introduced to a boy who is watching the show from the White House. It turns out this boy is the son of the President of the United States, and he will play a pivotal role later on in the movie. We also see glimpses of other people tuning in from all over the world to see the show The Devil's Hour. Back to the set, the demon threatens Max and his team that if they try to leave, it will execute them. It is here that they realize the threat is real, and the only way to escape is to face it head-on. In the next scene, the demon focuses its attention on Max. It drops the spotlight on him and starts to berate him. It inflicts emotional damage upon him and physical damage by forcing him to get naked and walk on shards of glass. The audience from all over the world are petrified and start to realize the seriousness of the ordeal. The demon has telepathic powers, and it uses them to probe into Max's mind to access his memories. Here it is shown that Max used to attend a Catholic school when he was still a child. He was on his way to become a priest, but he experienced physical abuse. The scene ends without diving deeper into his past. As the show continues, the demon starts to torment Lane from the inside out. It makes her vomit objects from her mouth, much to the horror of everyone watching. She starts choking and Max hurries to prevent her from dying. It quickly backfires when he puts his hand in her mouth to remove the objects. Lane bites off his finger. He cries out in pain, squeaking on the ground like a cockroach. All this is enough to make Riley panic. She tries to leave, but ironically, the demon uses the statue of Jesus Christ to kill her. The demon again compels Max to live out his childhood trauma in his mind. We begin to see that it has a personal connection with Max. It feeds off his misery. From the bathroom, the sound technician wakes up from his slumber. He's still shook from his encounter and runs towards Drew. He confides in Drew and tells him what the creature looks like, describing its true form as a winged furry bird. Drew theorizes that if they know what it looks like, they can search for its name in the supernatural database and know its name. Once they figure out its name, they can expel it from Lena, hopefully. The sound technician seems to have the ability to see the demons. His loud mouth does not go unnoticed by the demon, as it proceeds to release small creatures that attack him and eventually lead to his demise. After the technician's demise, the demon starts to torment Max. It commands him to take his life in front of his audience. When he refuses, it threatens to take Lena's life if he does not comply. With a heavy heart, he is forced to play the demon's game, and he puts a rope around his neck. We shown another flashback of Max's past. His teacher used to abuse him verbally and mentally. He received severe punishment for failure to recite the prayer. One day he decided he had enough, and in a fit of rage, he pushed his teacher to the floor, which tragically led to her gruesome demise. This sin is why Max thinks is unholy, and the demons uses his own guilt to punish him. The show now has a massive following, and people all over the world are glued to their smartphones. A look at the view counter shows that the views are now past 11 million. It is here that we can see the demon is using the show to announce itself to the world. It likes the attention, and it is a testament to the state of the world today. Pride, greed are attributes that if left unchecked can turn us into devils. Drew, having pieced together clues, finds out that the name of the demon is Amon. Amon, when translated, means oracle, is the king of hell with legions of armies. Though it's not explicitly stated, it is safe to assume that he is in fact the devil himself. Now that they know its name, they start to search for the prayer to expel in the database. This is met with hostility by the demon, who is aware of what they are trying to do. As Drew tries to type the prayer for Max to recite, the demon uses its telekinesis power to subdue and tie him to the floor. The demon then taunts Drew and Max by revealing that Max and Lane had an affair behind Drew's back. This starts a scuffle between Drew and Max, which leads to a physical altercation, much to the delight of the demon. When Drew calms down, he realizes he was just entertaining the demon. In a moment of vulnerability, he forgives Max and urges them to work together to exorcise the demon. They work together to recite the prayer and fight off the relentless attacks of the demon. As the prayers intensifies, the evil force becomes more agitated and starts to use its abilities to fight back. The audience, now focused on the watch intently as the battle between good and evil ignites. The demon, sensing its demise, breaks loose from its chains and starts pounding on Drew like an angry bear. In the dramatic scene, Max manages to finish the pair, and finally Amon departs from Lane. After a long tussle, Lane is free and the evil entity has departed from her. They all hug each other and breathe a sigh of relief. However, their joy is short-lived as Tommy spawns back to life, possessed by the demon. In a shocking turn of events, it is revealed that the book they were using to recite prayers was actually a summoning ritual for Amon to enter Realm. We learn that it is Amon himself who wrote the book, and what they thought was an exorcism was a spell. Finally, Amon transforms into his final form, shocking everyone witnessing this horror. He recites a spell, and immediately after finishing it, all the viewers that are tuned in become his slaves, seemingly possessed. In the final scene, the small boy we saw early takes a sharp object and plunges it into his mother. Next, he goes to his father's office and takes out the guards, and finally killing the president. We then see the world descending into chaos, marking the dawn of a new world order. Subscribe and like for more amazing videos. Thank you. Take care.